starts and ends, but that's me, I'm somewhere a little way. Slowly learning that life is okay and say after me, it's no better to be safe.
It's early over here. 6:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. So yesterday, I'm going to say, what has it been about? Maybe give or take 12 hours or so. The vice president of Golden Boy Promotions, Eric Gomez, released a statement to ESPN stating that Golovkin has 24 hours, meaning in the next 6 hours from now. Right now, it's June the 13th, 2018. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. So, according to the statement, Golovkin has about 6 hours from now, from this video, to accept an agreement of 57.5% versus 42.5%. For the first fight, it's been pretty much confirmed that Golovkin made 35% for the first fight, a 35% split. It did about 1.3 million pay-per-view buys, very successful event that didn't include a Mayweather name or a Pacquiao. You know, so this was Canelo actually getting, you know, a major pay-per-view, and where even myself, I didn't think it would do a million, but it did. It was a very successful event. So you would think with the bad blood and, you know, the hype rolling over from the first match, it'll be 1 year later, September the 15th in 2018 in the MGM, in the T-Mobile Arena, excuse me. And Golden Boy had already released news a couple of days ago that they have that site on hold, and rest assured will be on HBO pay-per-view. So Golovkin can't fight in that arena, and he damn sure won't be fighting on that day unless it is a Canelo. But listen, let's cut the bullshit. I think the fight's going to happen. If Golovkin chooses to leave all that money on the table, then that'll be what? He'll be leaving at least 40, 50 million on the table. You know, let's go do a little bit of math here. So let's do 1.3 times 75. So you paid $74.99. What? I'm tripping. My bad. So that's $97.5 million for the first fight, just off of pay-per-view alone. And I just did some basic, you know, math. Let's just say everybody who, let's say 1.3 million people, you know, paid $75. That was the HD version here in the States. So that's $97 million right there off the bat, right there. So you have to include ticket sales, which was somewhere between 25 and 30 million. You know, you have to include any type of other television rights, sponsorships, things like that. So a lot of money came in. Canelo made a lot of money. Golden Boy made a lot of money. So, of course, Golovkin does deserve more money unless you've been living under a rock and don't know what happened with the May situation. In fact, him not fighting Canelo in May because Canelo couldn't compete because of the suspension and having to pull out of the fight cost Golovkin that IBF title, because basically this would have probably been over by now, right? And Golovkin and Canelo would have been fighting different people in September, likely, right? Because there wouldn't have been another rematch clause, correct? After this fight in September, I'm pretty much, I feel that they're going to fight. I don't feel it's going to be Danny Jacobs, and I don't feel it's going to be Billy Joe Saunders. So I'm saying this, that no matter who would have won in May if they fought, they probably would have been fighting other opponents. You know, even if Golovkin would have won the rematch, he would have been the upper side in the negotiations and could have, you know, I don't know. I just think that looking back at it, he wouldn't have lost his IBF title if he would have fought Canelo in May, looking back at it, unless he lost that title to Canelo if they fought in May. So he deserves, you know, more money. In this case, for the rematch, he's getting, if now that it's not happening in May, that it's happening now, he's getting 7.5% increase. He's getting over 40%. So, you know, he's broken through that 60-40 rule. He's broken through that. Where they get that half a percentage from, hey, you know, whatever. But once again, this was confirmed by ESP. Here, I'm going to pull it up for you. It's over here. I don't feel like doing reading Rainbow. Y'all can go read it for yourself, but I'm going to read just the gist of it. You know, Dan's been working, you know, a lot lately. He's got that show over at ESPN Plus. He's doing all this stuff. Golden Boy Promotions and Canelo Alvarez are done waiting around for unified middleweight world champion Gennady Golovkin to finalize their deal for the rematch. Remember, Golovkin still has that WBC and that WBA, and also, which has quietly happened, which I believe because Ring Magazine is owned by Golden Boy, that they didn't publish a story or the headline of Canelo being stripped of his Ring Magazine title, because quietly now Golovkin is the Ring Magazine champion without winning or losing, you know, to Canelo, and without it being, you know, said that Canelo has been stripped. For example, here is his Instagram right here. So it's some shadiness right there. This is Golovkin's Instagram. He just posts simply, finally. Ring Magazine, as you can see, is his name on it, Golovkin. The last 160-pound lineal Ring Magazine champion was Canelo because he beat Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto beat Sergio Martinez. You dig me? You know, so that's where that comes from. So not only is Canelo, you know, been it's just weird, man. It's just weird. But let me go back to reading this for you. I'm only going to read the first paragraph. Golden Boy Promotions and Canelo Alvarez are done waiting around for unified middleweight champion Gennady Golovkin to finalize their deal for the rematch. Golden Boy president, my bad, he's the president, Eric Gomez told ESPN on Tuesday that the company has issued Golovkin and promoter Tom Loeffler an improved final offer that he has until 12 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday to accept. That's 3 p.m. my time. HBO pay-per-view main event September 15th at the T-Mobile Arena. And my bad, I thought my food was here. My Amazon Fresh. T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas with the biggest money in the fight of boxing. With the biggest money fight in boxing. Gomez said the final offer is a 57.5 versus 42.5 split, 42.5%, 57.5% for Canelo in Alvarez's favor. And if Golovkin doesn't accept, they will continue to finalize the deal for Alvarez to face former secondary middleweight titleist Danny Jacobs. So from my understanding, the Danny Jacobs fight is still in play. There's back and forth negotiations. So Golden Boy sent the offer to Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs' team has counter offer. If Golovkin doesn't take the fight, they're going to go and fight Danny Jacobs, and Danny Jacobs is going to make nowhere near the money that Golovkin is going to make. And I'm pretty sure that they're offering Danny Jacobs flat rates, and Danny Jacobs is trying to get a percentage of something. So, you know, that's the politics of boxing that we're in right now. And notice that you haven't been really hearing any mention of the name Billy Joe Saunders, WBO champion, who is not fighting Martin Murray June the 23rd. Martin Murray is now actually fighting Roberto Garcia. Good for him. He is fighting on June the 23rd, but Billy Joe Saunders is supposed to be injured. So when he does return, who is he going to fight? And in regards to Danny Jacobs, if he doesn't fight Canelo or Golovkin, which I doubt he'll fight either of them next, he was ordered by the IBF to fight Sergey Derevyanchenko. And somebody told me, and I missed Derevyanchenko's last fight, and before I do a video on him, I got to make sure I watch that last fight. But from my understanding, he's trained by Terry Rozier, the same trainer who trains Danny Jacobs, so they can't fight each other. So it's going to be likely that they're going to order Sergey Derevyanchenko versus Jamal Charlo, but wouldn't it make more sense for Danny Jacobs and Jamal Charlo to fight each other? Right? WBC interim, you know, it's a fight that can be made if Charlo goes over to HBO. But as I said in the previous video, especially covering his brother Jamel this weekend, who fought Austin Trout, these guys need their own cars. They need bigger fights. But in regards to Danny Jacobs, Jamal Charlo fighting Danny Jacobs is a big step up, you know, in competition. Remember, Danny Jacobs was in that situation when he was fighting, you know, Sergio Mora in rematches. No disrespect to Sergio Mora, but you get what I'm saying. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. We got 94 days until Canelo Golovkin 2, I'm saying, even though it's not official. But there's so many more steps to the process that has to happen. We have to first, you know, hear these guys accept the offers through social media, you know, and we have to hear guys like Danny Jacobs, you know, be pissed off and, you know, yada, yada, yada. But the good thing about Golovkin being stripped is that now, you know, he has more freedom because the WBC is not going to strip him, you know, and the WBA is damn sure not going anywhere. They want those sanctioning fees. So a lot of people don't understand that the IBF really did what they were supposed to do, and a very good thing for boxing politics when they stuck by their rules, and they're missing out on the biggest sanctioning fee in boxing they can get outside of an Anthony Joshua fight in stripping Golovkin, because remember, the money they make, it comes from the fighters defending their titles. To be able to be an IBF champion, WBC, WBA, WBO, you have to pay them to wear their belt, to be listed as a champion. And the bigger the fight, the more money they make and the more exposure they get. So them stripping Golovkin hurts them tremendously. But also it shows that, like I've been saying for years, that they're the only sanctioning body that really follows through with their rules. The WBC second, the WBO and the WBA is like tied for third because of the WBO. They got their affiliations with HBO, Top Rank, Frank Warren is kind of weird with that. And the WBA being the oldest organization, the oldest of the belt and sanctioning bodies, they just be doing whatever the hell they want. And they got 2 belts they've been promising to get rid of for now 3 years. Anyway, just a little update on TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I'm about to go back and start listening to some more acoustics and smooth jazz, get my morning going. Please subscribe. All links to my social media right down below in the description box. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live.